Okay, welcome to this presentation. I guess you can see my screen.
I don't see. I
Yet?
think some of us they have not seen.
No,
Okay, let
Not
me.
yet, not yet.
Okay.
no.
Over here, can you see?
Ah,
I'm sharing. Can you see it?
Yeah, yeah. We see like human resource planning.
Yes, yes. Okay. Yeah, so that's what we're going to look at today in module called Introduction to Human Resource Management. In our previous lesson, we looked at the definition of human resource management, whereby we said that it is a process for acquiring new employees for organization to replace those who have retired, or those who have resigned, or those who have passed on, God forbid, or when we expect a project, that's when we do recruitment. So we went ahead to look at some of the objectives of human resource, whereby we say that the objectives of human resource are to create employees, to motivate employees, to create a working environment which will be conducive to everyone, and also to develop employees. So we went ahead to look at some of the dimensions or the scope of human resource, whereby we talked about personnel management, we talked about employee welfare, we also talked about industrial relations. So these are some of the aspects we looked at in our previous lesson for those who missed it. And today we're going to look at the human resource plan, which is abbreviated as HRP. So in some books, you find that it is written manpower planning or personnel planning. So if you come across manpower planning or personnel planning, it is the same as human resource planning. Maybe before I proceed, maybe I would like to hear from you what you know about human resource planning. Anyone to share with us? Put up your hand and then you tell us what you know about human resource planning.
Hello, sir. I think I'm in wrong class, or I know I'm supposed to attend nutrition global nutrition challenge. Is this what we're supposed to discuss, or I'm in wrong
You're
class?
supposed to attend what?
Global nutrition challenge.
At what time?
It is written there at 4:30, and I thought I'm in the right place, but it seems that this
Yeah,
is not my class.
maybe the lecturer will soon share the link. Just be patient.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so
Okay. Thank you.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
decide to continue with us or you will sign out as
Mm.
you wait for yeah lecture to start.
Okay.
All
It's
right.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I will get some knowledge. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
fine.
Okay, I can see Orem has just joined us. Good evening, Orem.
So, good evening, Chief Patrick.
Yeah,
Thank you
how are you
very
doing? It
much
has
for
been
the
a while.
questions.
We have not heard from you.
Actually, there's really network, so which is always failing me to connect.
Mm.
I do actually, but
Okay.
it's a challenge if maybe
Uh,
a little bit or maybe
all right.
on to some of the questions.
Okay.
But at least you can hear me out now.
Yeah, even as you speak now, your network is still breaking, but we manage. I think yesterday also you joined us, but the network was disturbing. We could not hear you. All right.
I was trying to respond, actually. I don't know. It failed me completely.
Sorry, network.
So, one part of am I part of this class?
Did you do human resource management in your first second semester or still?
I
Yes?
did it in this semester.
You did the second semester.
In my first semester.
Okay, well, your network is really disturbing, so I'll engage you maybe later on. Okay, so we are going
Okay,
to,
can you hear me?
yeah, we can hear, yes, we can hear you now. I can hear you.
I hear you loud here. So I was saying it
Hmm.
during my first semester.
Okay, so if you've done it already in the first semester,
Yes,
you already,
I'm done with it.
okay, okay. So if you are done with it, I think this time around you're not going to do it because you're already done it and then the marks given to you. So you don't need to do it again. But if you have enough data, you're not
All right.
occupied, you can also attend it. No problem.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I think I'm a little bit busy somewhere.
It's
Thanks you
okay.
so much for
It's okay. You can go to your
clarification.
list. Yeah.
Bye.
All right. Like I was saying that today we're going to look at human resource planning or manpower planning or personnel planning. So anyone with an idea of what manpower planning or human resource planning is, let me start with your coach Christopher because you're majoring in human resource. Yes, Christopher. Your microphone is not open. Okay, Christopher is not responding. How about you, Tom? Do you have any explanation for us, your own understanding? Hello, Christopher, can you hear me? I mean, Tom. All right, so Jacob probably, John probably not listening to me. Let us just continue. I hope you come in later. So, Jacob Lam, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm okay, sir.
Okay, you are doing this course.
Procurement and logistics.
Okay, German. Okay. So, let us continue with the human resource
Mm.
planning. So, human resource planning is basically ensuring that the organization has the required number of people for the employees to do the work. So that's about human resource planning, making sure that the organization has the required number of employees to do the work. But why do we have human resource planning in place? We do have human resource planning in place because we want to avoid the two problems. Number one is employee shortage. Okay? Employee shortage is a problem because they will not be productive because of the workload. The workload will be too much on them, and then the output will be minimal. So therefore, it's advisable that we always conduct manpower planning or human resource planning to ensure that the people you're having in the organization they can do what is expected of them. That's problem number one. Then another problem is the labor surplus. So the labor surplus is now the opposite of the labor shortage. The labor surplus means that we have too much workers in an organization or too many workers in an organization. The moment you have too many workers in an organization, it means that you're going to lose a lot of finances in terms of salary wage or wage, salary expenses. Okay? At the end of the month, you're going to spend a lot of money paying the workers, yet they're doing little work in an organization. If you are in an organization which depends on profit, on the sales, it means that you're not going to grow. because most of the time you give back the profit the employees because the number is huge. That's another factor. Then another point is when you have too many people at work, they will not be performing to the expectation. You are actually underutilizing them. The work which is supposed to be done by one person, you find three, four people doing it. So what is that? So you are not utilizing the skills or the strength of the employee maximum. So these are the two problems to solve when you have a proper human resource plan in place in an organization. So having looked at that, the next thing we're going to look at another objective. Why do we have the human resource planning in an organization? Number one is to ensure proper assessment of human resources. Okay? You need to make sure that the people you are having, they have the right qualification, they have the required skills to do the job. That's why we have the human resource planning. There's no way you will find out exactly how many people are skilled to do the work you expect them to do. You do not have a proper human resource planning in place. Sure. Then another one is to anticipate deficits or surplus manpower and taking the corrective action. I've already explained to you what it means by labor shortage or labor surplus. Okay. The moment you discover that you are having labor shortage, it means that as a manager you need to do recruitment to add on more manpower. So if you also find that you have labor surplus, means that you need to also recruit in new workers and also try a way of downsizing to make sure that you reduce the number to the maximum. So that's objective for human resource planning. Then the last objective in this presentation is to reduce the costs associated with personnel. So what are these costs? One is the salary expense. Okay. Another cost is if you don't have proper manpower planning system in place, you're going to be doing recruitment almost every month. Recruitment is also costly because you have to advertise the position, you have to shortlist the candidate, you start interviewing them, printing paperwork, a lot. And also you are taking risk by you recruiting a new person. You are taking risk because you don't know the person you're recruiting whether he or she will perform to the expectation. So in human resource, we don't know how two risks involved in the recruitment process. One is the omission error. Okay. The omission error happens when you let go of someone who is supposed to be competent for the job. Maybe because he didn't do well in the interview for one or two reasons, and then you let go of that person. That's called omission error. Then the selection error. The selection error happens when the person who does not even qualify, who is not eligible, who lacks the skills for the job, is recruited. Maybe because the person performed well during the interview. So these are some of the costs associated with recruitment all the time. So as human resource people, you need to make sure that you avoid constant recruitment. You need to recruit only if there is a deficit. So if someone has resigned, or someone has gone somewhere to work, or the person has died, or has reached a retirement age. So that's why you can come in and then have the recruitment in place. So therefore, we can say that we have human resource planning or manpower planning in place because we want to avoid such kind of costs, such kind of errors from happening. Then we can now look at the steps of manpower planning. What do you do if you have if you want to have effective manpower planning system in your organization? The first step is you need to analyze the internal labor force. Before you think of recruitment, look internally. Maybe the person you're trying to recruit is just here in the organization with you. Because if you have not looked internally, you may think that the person will come from outside. So do your analysis. Look around in terms of the qualifications and skills of your current employees. Okay? It will help you to determine whether you need to go and recruit from outside or you just have to update or expand the job description of the current employees so that they will be doing the work which you are planning to recruit someone to do. So that is how internal analysis of the labor force is very important as far as human resource planning is concerned. Then the next step is you need to forecast the labor demand. Okay, as human resource, you need to check outside the organization what is happening in terms of labor. What are the factors which is influencing or which are impacting the labor force? Okay. We can talk about the technology. Technology has two effects. It can either reduce the number of employees in an organization or it can increase the number of employees in an organization. So if you don't do the forecasting of labor, if you don't look outside the organization, then you will not know exactly what you need in your company or in your organization. Okay. You also need to check around how much other organizations paying their workers. That one is also very important in terms of planning. Because if you're paying less compared to what other organizations are paying, chances are high that you will experience high labor turnover. Labor turnover means that an employee coming and leaving the organization because the payment is very low. So you need to also look around that. So don't pay your employees extremely lower than what other companies are paying because these employees will one day leave your company because they have a lot of things to do. They need more money. But this does not mean that you have to be extremely extravagant in terms of paying them. You have to look at your budget line. Okay? Everything depends on the ability to pay. If you do not have the ability to pay, let the person go. It's not by force. So that's what we call labor forecasting in relation to manpower planning. Then the next step is the gap analysis. The human resource department has to conduct the analysis to identify gaps. Okay. In the gaps, you normally ask questions like the current employees whether they need to be given a new skill. Okay. Or the company has more or less employees, or the employees are performing to their expectations. So these are some of the questions you need to ask yourself during the gap analysis step. Okay? The employees can be performing well or not, and when they are not performing well, make sure that you investigate why they are not, because there are other factors which is making them not perform well. It could be the technology, it could be the tools they are using, it could be even the work environment. Sometimes also it impacts the employees negatively in terms of their performance. So if you discover that the underperformance is because of the work environment, the scope of the work, the structure, then you have to make the necessary adjustment to make sure that their performance improves. So these are some of the questions you ask yourself under the gap analysis as far as human resource planning, manpower planning is concerned. Then the next step is developing and implementing a plan. Okay? In the first step, you started by analyzing the internal labor force. In the second step, you looked outside what's happening. In the third step, you did your gap analysis to identify the areas where you need improvement. Now, the last one is about action now. So, this step helps you to answer some of the questions you ask yourself during the gap analysis stage. Whether employees need to be trained, whether you have sufficient number of employees or not. So it's during this implementation plan. So if you discover that your employees are lacking skills, you can now decide maybe to empower them by training them. And also if you find that your employees are not at the number needed to perform the task, of course you can do recruitment to make sure that you add on the numbers so that the work can be moving smoothly. And in case the numbers are too much, okay, you can always reduce that number by either not renewing the contract of other employees or by doing what we call downsizing. Okay. So these are some of the activities you can do or you can perform under the development and implementation plan stage. So having looked at that, not just look at the human resource planning within the organization, how do it handle? The human resource planning involves line manager. Okay, the line managers are very important when it comes to manpower planning. Because the employees you're trying to recruit, they work in those departments. That's why when the organization is recruiting, you always find that during the recruitment exercise, the hiring manager is always there. The hiring manager is the department, is the manager where the new employee is going to work in. He has to be there. For example, if you are recruiting a finance officer or accountant, the finance manager has to be there during the recruitment exercise. So because he understands the scope of the work. Yeah. Then we have the top management is responsible for planning of the resources. The human resource department is not the overall. We have the county director, have the executive directors, have the operation manager. These guys are the ones responsible. So they need to allocate the resources for the planning. If the plan is to build the capacity of the staff, where do you get the money from? You don't need to use your own money as human resource manager to train these people. No, the money has to come from the organizational budget and it has to be approved by the top management of the organization. So that's why we are saying that human resource planning in an organization also involves the top management. Okay. So with that, you can now clearly tell your manager that yes, I did ABCD and this is the findings. Our employees are not having these skills, or we are having less employees. We need to do more recruitment. Then they can say, go ahead. Yeah. So the next one is that the personnel department supplies relevant information. We're still in the process of human resource planning within the organization. A personnel department is the human resource department. Actually, in some organizations, they don't use the word human resource department or human resource. They use personnel, others they use people and culture. And so when you come across people and culture, personnel, we are all referring to human resource. There are employees, they don't want to be called a resource because we have other resources in an organization like the finances, the computer, the vehicle, the building, the furniture. These are the resources of the organization. So people are trying to differentiate them from those resources by giving a new name called People and Culture Department, Personnel Department, etc. So the Human Resource Department is the one responsible for providing information related to the human resource to the line managers. Because in the human resource office, you only find files, information related to the employees, nothing else. Okay? The training record, academic qualifications, and other relevant information. You can only find them in the Department of Human Resources. So this helps a lot in terms of promotions, in terms of even demotion. Okay? You've seen some organizations they do demotion. You are the senior officer. Instead of being the senior, then they demote you back to the assistant officer from being the senior. It happens. Okay? So don't be surprised to see that someone has been demoted from the senior position to the lower position. So that is how human resource department in an organization plays its role as far as personnel management is concerned. Then let us look at the factors affecting human resource planning. Basically, we have two factors. One is the external factor, and then we have also the internal factor. But we are going to start with the external. So the external factors, these are factors which are beyond the reach of the organization, beyond the reach of the human resource. Okay? For example, the government policies. The government is the one responsible for making policies. So whatever is there in the policy, it is out of the reach of the organization. So all the organization has to do is to comply with the policies. So, for example, policies of uh, minimum wage. You all know what minimum wage is. A policy whereby the government can say in South Sudan no one should get below 100,000 SSP. Okay? No one should get below 100,000. That's the minimum wage policy. Now you are working in an organization which is still small company, private company. So how do you make sure that you give all the employees at least 100,000 SSP, assuming that you have over 20 employees? Okay? So that money is going to be too much. So it's going to affect you as a human resource, whereby you're going to start downsizing, taking off some workers because you want to maintain reasonable or small number which you can be able to pay their salary. But work is going to increase. That's the challenge. You end up firing people, but the workload will not be fired. The workload remains, and their productivity is going to be affected. So that's how government policies affect the human resource planning in an organization. The next factor under external is the level of economic development. Okay? If the economy is not doing well, of course the private companies are suffering. You will not get the revenue you want to maintain the organization. So what will happen is that the payment, okay, the motivation factors will not be there, and it will affect your ability to have a reasonable number. Instead of having 30 employees, you may think that no, because of the hardship, then you have only 10. Okay? Because of the economic condition, then you have 10. So it affects your planning. And when you have less workers, of course, the workload, like I've told you in the previous point, the workload remains constant. It will not change. Okay? You're going to force these people to work, and at the end of the day, they will not be producing work because of the gravity of the work, the load of the work is too much. So that is how the level of economic development affects the human resource. If the economy is really doing well, of course, it also has positive impact on the human resource planning because the money is always there. You can have as many as workers you have as possible. You can have those workers. But if the economy is not doing well, it becomes a problem. Then it's still under external factors. We have the business environment. Now we're talking about the competition in the business. The private companies competing. Okay? So you are struggling to get money, but other companies they're having the money. Of course, they'll be scoping, they'll be taking out the most talented workers from you. Okay? Because at the end of the day, what the workers want is a better remuneration. Whereby the remuneration is not the expectation, of course, they will not be continuing with you. And as a human person in such organization, you're going to find it very difficult to maintain the highly skilled and experienced workers. You only do working with these people who are not experienced because those ones they will not have the ground to demand for a lot of money. And that is the kind of people they're going to be working with. But as they gain experience in your organization, more than and up in the organization and go for a better training after getting experience from the organization. So you can see how the business environment in terms of competition is affecting the human resource planning in an organization. So now let us look at the internal factors. Number one is the company policies and strategies. Now this is within the reach of the company. The company has the powers to amend the policies. Okay? So these policies affect the human resource planning. For example, if the company has a policy of only having people who are diploma holders, assuming that that is the policy of the company, they don't want to recruit masters or degree holders, they only focus on diploma holders. It's the policy. Then as a human resource, for you, you are targeting people who are highly educated, masters, even PhD. It means that you're not going to be recruiting such people. You only depend on diploma. So that's how company policy affects the human resource planning of organization. It is under internal factor because the company has the powers to modify or to change the policy completely. Then it's still under internal factor, we have the human resource policies. The recruitment policy, what does it say? Sometimes the human resource they prefer internal recruitment, whereby they get employees within an organization. They don't want to go and get employees outside. Or others they prefer partnering with other firms, recruitment firms, to do for them the recruitment. Okay? The problem with the trusting other firms is that you don't know their criteria of recruitment. They could bring for someone who is not competent enough to do the job because you have entrusted them to the paperwork was done with them, your work, you only to give the contract, that person does it doing there. So that is how the human resource policy of relying on either internal recruitment or relying on other partners the recruitment on behalf of organizations affect the initial planning. Then the time horizon also affects the human resource planning. If you're working with the humanitarian organization, have a project which is ending maybe in the next 3 months. So you don't need to have a lot of people to do the work because you know the project is going to end. And if someone has resigned, you just 2 3 months to end the project. Sometimes you feel like no, instead of recruiting someone, let me just expand the job description of the existing worker so that they can do the work the person is supposed to do. And then also, if you're working in a private company, especially a manufacturing company, we have some season, like the festive season. The demand for certain products is high. So because of that time factor, it will force you to adjust your plan. Okay. So if you are we are coming towards the Christmas season, you know the demand of people. Okay, people like to buy new clothes. The business is just booming. Now, for you as a manager, you need to make sure that you have the competent people who are going to be delivering all these products that are needed by the people. So by doing that, the timing of the event affects your planning. And what happens when Christmas is no longer there? There's no money, life becomes very hard. Okay, you start thinking of since there's no money, let me do downsizing or let me terminate directors contract, things like that. So that is how internal factors affect the personnel planning or manpower planning. So now let us look at some of the prerequisites for the human resource planning. On top of prerequisites, we are talking about those factors which are needed for a successful implementation of human resource planning. Number one is the top management support is essential, like I have explained to you before. The human resource department is not the overall. We have bigger people ahead of human resource. So their support is needed if you need to have a successful human resource planning in place. The managing director, the account director, the production operation managers, those ones, you need to make sure that you have their support if you want to be successful in your human resource planning process. Then also you need to focus on the qualitative and the quantitative factors. Very important. By qualitative, we are talking about the qualifications and skills of the people you're working with. Then by quantitative, we're talking about the numbers. Okay? Numbers also play a role. You can have people who are highly experienced, skilled, but how many are they? That one also matters. The moment they are few, they will not be doing what is expected of them because of the workload which has been explained. They will not do it. So both approaches are very important if you want to have a successful human resource planning. The qualification, the skills of the employees, and also the number, how many they are, numbers also matters. Because in the definition of human resource planning, we say that it's all about ensuring that the organization has the required number of competent employees doing the right job. So, on top of the required number, of course, that's when the aspect of quantitative comes in. So the next one is the involvement of operating managers is necessary. I think I've already explained that. The operating managers sometimes are called the line managers. They are very important when it comes to recruitment and planning because they understand the scope, the nature of the work they're doing better than the human resource. Okay, so you need to involve them so that they can give you ideas or suggestions on what you need to do as far as manpower planning is concerned. Then let us look at the benefits of human resource planning or manpower planning. The first one is a reduced cost associated with personnel management, which we have explained already. Okay. Then the maximum number of employees, we will not have less or high. Because having less is a problem, the challenge. Even having high is also a challenge. So if you have the effective manpower planning in place, of course, you're going to have those required numbers you deserve. Then employee training and development. Okay. The people are going to maintain will be trained, and then what happens if they are trained is you're developing them. in terms of career, in terms of all other social aspects. So they become very important assets to the organization. Okay? Actually, in a business environment, human being or the human resource assets to the organization. So that is how human resource planning is very important to you as an organization or as an individual human resource manager. Then let us look at the problems of human resource planning. Resistance by employers and employees. The employers, especially your bosses, might resist your plan. Okay? You've done your human resource assessment, you discover that you have employees, less employees. Now you have asked for funds over approval to do more recruitment, but they say no, work with the number we have. That's a resistance from employers. Okay? Then how about from employees? You want to take someone for training because you know that his skills is below. The person will say, no, I'm not going. Okay? Others will not go because of the family issues and other factors. They will resist it. And sometimes if you want to do transfer, okay, especially you have branches across the country, you want to take, instead of recruiting people in Yambio, you decide to take some staffs from Juba to go and work in Yambio. Field work. Instead, someone will say, no, I'm not going to Yambio because of ABCDA, because of my medical condition, because of my family issues, things like that. These are some of the challenges. Then we have uncertainties. You don't know what will happen tomorrow. The person you are investing in today will leave you one day. That's uncertainty. Just imagine taking someone for a very serious training. You invest millions of dollars training this employee, but tomorrow they are working with their competitors. So there's nothing you can do about it unless you have a written document which is stipulates that after you are training, you're going to work with us for maybe this period of time, then from there you're free to go. If you do not have that in place, you end up investing in someone, the person comes today and tomorrow is working for another organization. So these are some of the uncertainty things we're talking about. Then inaccuracy of information. Information is now becoming a very good resource in management. Okay? The decision we are taking depends on the information we are receiving. If you've been fed with wrong information, of course, you're going to take also wrong decision. Okay? The decision to train someone, if the information is not given correctly, is that you're going to waste a lot of money training this person. Yes, the training was not necessary. Just because of the misinformation or inaccuracy of the information, for you decided to organize the training for this person. That will not work. Then time and expenses. Okay? It's time consuming, especially if you talk about employee development. It takes time. Taking them for training, workshops, when they are out there, work is this in standstill, okay? Unless they come back. And also, if you feel like want to recruit someone to work on their behalf until they come back, it is still additional cost because if someone is undergoing training, the salary is actually not affected. You cannot say that because you have been out for 3 months, you're not paying yourself for 3 months. No, that's not how it works. You have to pay that person money, even if he or she is not at work. But so long as the organization is the one who has taken that person for the training. So these are some of the expenses. Even the training itself, you pay the consultants, okay? You pay for the trainer, you pay for the facilities, you pay for some time accommodation, etc. So it becomes extremely expensive, especially for the profit making or profit oriented organization. But for the NGOs, they have a budget for everything. But for the companies who are relying on the profit for the operations, this doesn't become extremely expensive on their side. So with that, we come to the end of this presentation, and they are open floor for a question or remarks as we wind up.